The Georgia law got a lot of attention on the issue of being able to give voters water while they're waiting in line. But the provision that seems ultimately possibly the scariest of all is what it does in terms of empowering the Georgia legislature in dealing with election results. What can you tell us about what the Georgia law does in changing the aftermath of voting and how the legislature might or might not be able to interfere with the count?
Part of the effectiveness of voter suppression is that it doesn't aim at a single target. It tries to dismantle or weaken the entirety of the system. And so, yes, no water because people are going to be standing in line for 7 or 8 hours and might just give up and go home. But if they make it through the gauntlet, they get their ballots cast, they get those ballots counted. On the other side, the Republicans have said to themselves, we may not like the outcome, so we're going to wrest away the power that we have invested in our election workers, people who are putting their time and their talent and their lives on the line sometimes. And we're going to say that they can be overturned by the act of state legislators who don't like the outcome. When you do that, what you are saying is that it's not worth knowing what the outcome will be because they're going to rig the outcome that they want. What they will say in response is, oh, it doesn't say that in the law. But I've been in politics long enough, as have you, to know that what's on the paper can be just the precursor to what happens in reality. And because they were also trying to weaken access to the courts, we don't know the full extent of the power they have given to themselves, but we know enough based on what we see happening in Arizona, what happened in Georgia, what the president of the United States tried to do across this country 70 times. We know that it is not going to be good for America and certainly not going to be good for voters, and it is not good for democracy.
Republicans don't like what happened to Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani when they went to court anywhere in this country after the election, lost everywhere they went. And so much of this new legislation that's being written by Republican state legislatures is aimed at the courts. It's aimed at trying to control the outcome and minimize the court's ability in certain situations. That seems also like a very, very troubling aspect of this. It's what happens after the votes are cast.
Well, let's be clear. This is not the sua sponte decision of various state legislatures who've been wrestling over these decisions and suddenly decided to respond. This is a coordinated attack on our democracy by Heritage Action, by the Republican National Committee, by the Big Lie and all of its purveyors. And this is their next attempt to undermine our democracy. And so, yes, they're going after the voters. They're going after the process, and they're going after the remedy. Because when you get through the entire gauntlet, if the last vestige of support for democracy are our courts, they're going to try to take power away there. We cannot afford to be distracted by 1 or 2 or 3 attacks. We've got to realize that this is a fusillade, and they are attacking every vestige of the system because they want the entire thing to either be so broken that we no longer expect success to be there for voters, or that we are so overwhelmed that we can't focus on the challenges before us. That's why there are more than 400 bills in 47 states. That's why they are refusing to take federal action, because they know that if we can actually focus our attention on protection of our democracy, they may lose an election. I can tell you it's not a fatal thing to lose an election, but it is dangerous to America to lose our democracy.